Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Just have a quick news item here and to give my personal opinion on. I want to thank Atlantis and Christina very much for the link to this article. This is in Canada, Vancouver Sun. And I'm going to put the link down below. I'm going to read this. Jehovah's Witnesses challenge constitutionality of BC privacy law. This is really the government interfering with religious practice, says Watchtower Society lawyer. Really? Oh, these people. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Canada, a charity that represents the Jehovah's Witnesses Christian denomination in Canada, has filed a lawsuit in BC Supreme Court. I would assume that means British Columbia. A charity representing the Jehovah's Witnesses claim that a BC privacy law violates religious freedoms and is seeking to have the legislation struck down as unconstitutional. What about Watchtower violating all of our human rights? We have evidence of that all over the place. Their shunning policy alone violates our human rights with access to our family. The Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Canada, a charity that represents the Jehovah's Witnesses Christian denomination in Canada, filed a lawsuit in BC Supreme Court after two former congregants lodged complaints with the Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner for British Columbia. The former congregants, one in Grand Forks and one in Coldstream, had repudiated the Jehovah's Witnesses and had contacted the Privacy Commissioner after the congregations in the small communities had denied them access to personal information. And I know a lot of XJWs, they want their publisher card and their information taken, they want that back in their possession instead of the congregation files. When they had withdrawn as Jehovah's Witnesses, the congregations had set up committees of 3 elders, the judicial hearings, to provide the former congregants with any possible spiritual assistance and otherwise confirm their decisions to repudiate. The committees each created a confidential religious summary of the matters and securely stored them in the local kingdom hall used by the congregations. The congregations refused to release the documents to the former congregants. Well, I see the way this could go because now Watchtower, claims confidentiality. Look at the case in California that they took to the Supreme Court. That, they didn't want to release their Pervo file to Zalkin and the court because of confidentiality and privacy of everyone on that list. So we can see, why Watchtower would want to fight this, because then it's just one step away from having to reveal or share their Pervo file. And I mean, if you have a judicial hearing, no matter what your sin was, you wouldn't want that to stay in the files. In the case of one former congregant, the Privacy Commissioner appointed an investigator, and in January, a decision was made to proceed to an inquiry, although the inquiry has not yet commenced. In the other case, an investigator has not yet been appointed, but a lawyer for the charity said in an interview Tuesday that there should be no inquiries into either case. Our position is we shouldn't go there, said Jaden McEwen. This is really the government interfering with religious practice. But see, they have no qualms about running to the government or the United Nations for help when they're being banned in a country or being sued in these countries for something they've done. And like Mike keeps saying, we can see there really is no division between church and state, especially in this country. The big issue is that the law itself is unconstitutional because there's absolutely no exemption for religious practice, for religious ministers, for nonprofit religious organizations that are not doing any type of commercial activity. Your real estate empire? The Personal Information Protection Act, which received assent in 2003, requires private sector organizations in BC to follow certain rules to protect the privacy rights of individuals in the process of collecting, using, holding, or disclosing personal information. Well, look in the UK. In Britain, they got in trouble for taking people's information that they meet, out in the field work, their name, their address, their phone number, emails, all of that. Look at in this country, how they have violated all of our rights to privacy by getting our name and address and phone number out of the phone book and online and sending us all their damn letters, preaching at us. Ugh, just makes me so angry. The law gives an individual right to request access to their personal information in the possession of an organization and aims to balance the rights of those individuals with the reasonable needs of the organization. Well, just like the letter that they send with a brother, from one congregation to another. They will not share that letter with you. We knew a bad letter went from Cottonwood to Wisconsin because Mike was speaking out against the elders. And we knew there was something in that letter because of comments that elders in Wisconsin made. But see, you ask them and they say, oh, I can't show that to you. Well, it's about you. You should be able to see that. So I can understand, why these ex-witnesses, what if the elders put something in their notes in that file that isn't true? I would be interested to see what our file says in the Taharas congregation about our apostasy. What did they add in that we don't know about? We don't know. McEwen said it's the position of the Jehovah's Witnesses that the documents being sought are the religious minister's personal information. But yet they'll destroy their notes on their pervo cases. These are the personal notes that have to do with spiritual, pastoral care that they offer congregants. We're talking about certain types of confidential communication and notes. That's what we're dealing with here. But the person you're making these notes on has a right to see those, in my humble opinion. He said that what really stands out is that there are some exemptions in the law that protect the charter rights of journalists, artists, and writers, but nothing that protects religious rights. The Attorney General's ministry said in an email that it has received a lawsuit and is considered its response. So same thing about CSA. What are in those files? So I can see why they would want to keep this secret, because it may set a precedence, in my humble opinion, for other lawsuits, to get their pervo file. So anyway, thank you very much, Christina and Atlantis. I appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody for your comments and emails and phone calls, about our previous videos about the news out of Australia. And I just want to mention one thing. There's been a hot court case going on in the United States here in Minnesota with Derek Chauvin, the police officer that killed George Floyd. And he was just found guilty. And, I didn't watch the entire trial, but I've seen several clips. And I just want to say that I think all of us, most of us, no matter what our skin color, we are tired of the violence and murder that has been going on, and not just the United States, but all over the world. And I think we're all just tired of it. And I was in Walmart yesterday doing a supply run, and there was an old guy in there, and I don't know what triggered him, but he was really upset, and he was yelling at a poor young kid there who worked at Walmart. And I mean, it was very nerve-wracking and disturbing to me, because I thought I was going to have to get my taser out and defend the poor kid, because the guy was yelling at him, that this is your effing fault, they're ruining this country and you're going to start a civil war. And I thought that was very uncalled for, But, you know, that's the point I'm trying to make. We're all tired of the violence and the murder and misinformation and everything that is out there. And I'm just going to say that I have served on juries and grand jury. And if I would have been a juror on that court, I would have had to have found him guilty also, because it really bothered me that, you know, he kept his knee on George Floyd's neck. And the minute he did not allow the EMT to come and take care of Floyd, you know, that right there made it murder. So, you know, I usually don't like to say anything political, but, you know, so much going on, and that has really upset me. And you all know we live in a border state, and oh my God, it's horrific. I mean, if you could see what was really going on, you would be horrified. Horrified. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and you all have a wonderful day. Bye.